Organizations like the World Bank Group aspire to promote learning and innovation. But what does it take to become a successful learning organization? How can the World Bank Group and other large organizations get it right? Renowned author and speaker, Dr. Peter Senge, shares his thoughts on what works, what doesn't, and why.
I would say it's spirit and energy. People really genuinely excited about what they're doing, so there's that element. Deep trust in each other. You know, the only thing you can be sure of is things will never turn out as you expect, so how do you deal with the breakdowns and the emotional traumas? Lastly, you might say the collective intelligence, particularly to see beyond their boundaries. There's been a lot of good studies done of teams that the best teams are not only develop a certain coherence internally, they're always focused externally, so they're always kind of managing boundaries really well. I think that's the same of organizations. I think all three of those are also true, but you know, they're a little harder to kind of put your finger on, you know, the spirit and energy of an organization. You might say a real deep confidence in that sense. If we'll make mistakes, we know we will. I'm not that worried about being punished for mistakes. Well, it's not going to happen through the official system, but that's true of any big organization. It'll happen in pockets. It'll happen where people, I mean, for example, I would expect in the field, a little far away from the central command, so to speak. The question is, how can you leverage and build on the innovations? I would be really surprised if you couldn't take any big issue the bank works with and at any point in time look around the world and see real pockets of what you would like to see on a larger scale. Because that's almost always true. There's a lot of innovation going on. The management challenge is to appreciate where those are, understand how they're doing it, understand what's making their life miserable, because a lot of times there are blockages that they're having to overcome unnecessarily, like you're measuring a lot of stupid things and it's not helping anybody, and to leverage and connect them. So that's where gatherings and bringing people together can be helpful. Identifying, supporting, and leveraging the innovators is the key to any big organization being able to create innovation. I always try to point out to people that you will not become a learning organization. That would be like saying, what 3 steps should I take to be a perfect human being? Okay, well, we can forget that conversation. So, and I don't think that's a bad analogy because, you know, it's kind of an aspirational ideal. Just like becoming the best person I can be is an aspirational ideal for me or anybody as a human being. So I would say the steps, though, that are really important to kind of keep you going, you really have to have some overarching aims that really excite people. The World Bank has a tremendous leverage to connect people, a convening power, to draw attention to really innovative things going on around the world, to help learning cross boundaries. That was always the idea behind the, quote, knowledge bank, but I think it got caught up in trying to package the knowledge as opposed to make the stories visible in a really compelling way and help people connect with each other. I think that's an example of an idea that I think people could get really excited about. You know, our job is to find and help connect the innovators around the world in development in the broadest sense. The second thing is what we've talked about on numerous occasions now, and which is, you know, really paying attention to a culture that fosters collaboration, risk-taking, learning from mistakes, openness, trust. These are all easy things to say, but they're really hard to do, and you never do it across the board. And the third step, I think, for an institution like the World Bank, since it is such an inherently political institution, and I don't say that in a critical sense, it just has a hugely complex stakeholder environment, and they're here. So how we kind of build a sense of collaboration amongst our donor countries and how we kind of embrace the inherent political complexity. I know Jim Kim has tried to do that vis-a-vis climate change because it's such a transcendent issue, but I would try to engage them directly. You know, where you've got something really exciting going on, does anybody go out and invite a board member to come and join you sometime when you're going to go to the field and study an innovation that's actually occurring? And I've seen this in the corporate world. The best CEOs are brilliant at getting their individual board members to connect to the innovations that would excite them, which will be different for each person. I would say stories. I mean, because these things are complicated, and it's easy to get weighted down with criticism or critical analysis. You need that critical analysis. I think the new report is very good. I think it identifies really important things. But you need to be lifted up by stories of people who are actually doing things. And you go, wow, if they can do that, then maybe we could do this. I always think of the World Bank as being more like a university than a university sometimes. Tend to be super critical, super analytic. That's a great thing, but it needs to be balanced by being good storytellers that help people touch the possibility that you can actually do things despite all this complexity and challenge. And you need both.